baby. I want to talk about the baby.
Wyclef Jean, BKS1 Radio. Let's go.
This is Essence Atkins, and this is BKS1 Radio.
Hi, this is Melba Moore, and you're listening to BKS1 Radio.
Yo, check it out. What's the deal? This the chef. Giving a big shout out to my peoples. Big KS, you already know what it is. Salute.
What's up? It's your girl Monifa, and I'm hanging with BKS1 Radio.
Hi, I'm Iyanla Van Zandt, and you're listening to BKS1 Radio.
BKS Radio, baby.
Hey, this is Jasmine Guy for BKS1 Radio.
What's going on? This is Lamont Rucker, and this is BKS1 Radio.
Shout out to BKS1, the best kept damn secret in the business.
Hey, what's up? This is Raven Goodwin from BET's Being Mary Jane, and shout out to BKS1.
Hi, this is Leon. You're watching BKS1 Radio.
BKS1. God bless y'all.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Out Show right here on BKS1 Radio. It is your girl, Latoya Chanel, and of course, I got Miss Queen B with me in the virtual building.
Yes.
But we are here. We are together. It is another Tuesday, another happy, healthy, blessed Tuesday that we are able to be here doing the show together. And Queen B, we have missed you on a Tuesday. What's going on? How you been? What's happening? Go, go, go.
I'm good, but I can't wait till life resumes as normal for me. I swear. I miss being here. I really, really do. I just miss it being doing things with my radio family. So yes. So and I got a lot to say, on Tuesdays. So I can't wait till life resumes as normal and I can just continue to do what I need to do, for the Owl family and just for the world. But other than that, I'm good. Prayerfully my family's not watching this show, but I've actually been sneaking being in school for my master's. Nobody really knows that. Right. So hopefully they're not watching. I don't think so. I think they're probably busy, but I'm in school for my master's and I am still planning a wedding and I am dealing with some health stuff. And let's just be real, 42 years old, I think that women, we tend to, our body changes, a lot, and we do need to address some health issues that we go through, and bodies do change. Will you admit?
Absolutely. I'm a believer that your body, I'm a believer that your body changes every 7 years, because I'm not sure if it happens for everyone else, but I know for me personally, every 7 years, there is something different that has happened. And it's weird. So for me, my last one was 35. Now I'm at 42. So now I'm kind of scared. I'm like,
the problem, just health issues alone. But I think for me, I am upset that I don't have Megan knees no more. You know what I'm saying?
You know what?
I go down and I'm going to go down. You know what I'm saying?
No, I just,
I'm upset about that. Like I can't even get low no more.
You know
things tighten up, now. But
there's a whole lot that I can't do anymore, like how I used to. Like
it's funny because we heard our parents, right? So we heard our parents and older women that we've been around, and we've heard their and you just never think, because you're young and vibrant and whatever, and you never think that it goes on. I do want to talk about one of these days we definitely need to have a show about women's health.
Oh, of course.
Women's health at 40 and above, because women deal with certain things, there's so many things that women deal with like that I didn't know that even existed until I got diagnosed with stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's a real thing. And then women are trying to figure out what's wrong with me,
Yeah.
And it's not until a diagnosis. And then I will say, let's be real. There are times when they don't diagnose you with things, but something wrong.
Something wrong.
And that was me. Like you keep pressing. And then finally they're like, oh, you got, and you're like,
yeah, blah,
somebody
blah,
could have told me this 10 years ago.
Right. You know, on a lighter note, what I can't do anymore, like you said, Megan knees. I can still do the Megan knees thing. I mean, not for long, but I got a little bit of time with
it's
that.
Limits.
Yeah, it's limits to it. I can't drink. Alcohol and my body is like, it's like a no-go for me.
Well, what does it do? Like,
you haven't seen me, sis. Like
I have. You got to tell the world this. Like, I don't.
It just.
I know what you go through when you take aspirin. Like,
yeah, exactly. And alcohol now affects me differently. I mean, I'm sure alcohol affects all people the same. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it doesn't take larger amounts of it anymore. Like a little bit now, and I'm done. Like I can't. The way it affects me is like if I had drank 8 bottles at one time, and it could literally be a glass. Right. Yeah. A glass. And do you know sometimes even if I have a glass of wine, I have a headache afterwards?
Yes. Now that I've woken up to that, I've actually
one glass and I got a headache.
I've actually woke up the next day and be like, I didn't even have much. Like, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So I'm definitely learning that is, one of my limitations is
I agree.
Is alcohol. You know what I mean? So
I think so. I will say this: white liquor for me is a problem.
Yeah.
White liquor for me is a problem. Dark liquor has been my vice at this time. Like you said, wine sometimes gives me a headache. It depends on, it honestly depends on, it really depends.
Yeah, no, white liquor really depends. White liquor is out for me. I'm literally a dark only, like that's it. But I'm finding. But
I will tell you this. Not even like the alcohol or whatever. I mean, little stuff has like I have now am reduced to like maybe a half of coffee. And the milk is being an issue for me.
Oh no, you got to switch to almond or coconut.
Yeah, so I'm actually doing that because it just doesn't do right by my stomach. The cheeses, I've always
wait.
Been
are we wait? Oh wait. Are we having old lady conversations on air right now?
You know that's what it feel like.
We're gonna start talking about when we go to the bathroom too.
Like that's what it feels like. I feel bad, but somebody know our story.
Yeah, look. We having these old lady conversations right now.
Somebody know what we feeling.
Listen. It's all true though. Not one lie is being told at the current moment. So,
not at all.
I get it, but. As we talk about, what some of the issues are, it's also very important to talk about what some of the solutions are, because once you just stay, with the issues, there's no productivity in that. So I will say that as much as our bodies are changing, our minds are changing even more so. And it is very important to make sure you find ways to maintain your peace, and it's very important that you find ways to make sure you are just releasing bad energy and removing yourself away from bad energy. And I had the pleasure of, and I'm going to get that video up to put on the radio page this week. I had the pleasure of being in a Zoom with Auntie Extraordinaire herself, Miss Iyanla Vanzant, on Thursday.
My boo.
Yes. I had the pleasure of being with her as she was just talking about finding and maintaining your peace and tranquility, and some new products that she has out that we are going to be promoting here on the show between now and the end of the year. And it was just absolutely an amazing conversation, and just her energy alone is great. Just freeing yourself of the negative vibes and energies and addressing things, and then moving past it to just make sure you are at one with yourself is part of,
important.
It's important and part of what she was talking about on Thursday. And then after you do that, release just using different products and different herbs and different things that can help you, maintain whatever positive energy that you then find on the other side of, whatever it is you have to deal with. So, being in her presence, even virtually, was an absolutely amazing thing. Was an absolutely amazing thing. And again, I'm going to share some clips from the video with all of you.
Good.
That she's amazing,
She is amazing.
She is absolutely amazing. So I'm not going to stay on it because I'm going to share. But in the meantime, we're going to go on to some hot topics. And there was one main one that you wanted to discuss today. So I want you to go ahead and go into that if you can.
Well, it really is. Are you talking about the baby?
Yes.
Okay. So it really is, as you can see, I'm multitasking because I have a family. So what I wanted to discuss, I don't know in total. I really caught wind of it later on, but I really don't know in total what happened or what transpired. I know that Danny Lee, is that her name?
Yes.
Had a baby by the baby. Okay. And I know that there's some toxicity in their relationship. Her mother has made a statement. Her sisters have made a statement. The baby has made a statement. She has made a statement. But he asked her, I guess, to leave his home with her not having a place to go or something like that. And she just had a baby. Now, let's rewind in that me and you have had this conversation on the show where she made that song. This is the same person that made that song. Remember the light skin or whatever she made?
Oh, that was her?
The Redbone song?
That was her? About you with me because I'm light skinned and all of this?
Yeah, you with me because I'm light skinned, this, that, and the other.
Oh, that was... Go ahead. Yeah. Okay.
So we discussed how we felt about that. But here we are with the fact that she just had a baby. Let's just, be real. I want to say this before. I in no way condone a man being abusive in any way towards a woman. And when I say abusive, abuse is not always physical. Sometimes it is mental. Sometimes people abuse you with money, holding money or holding money over your head. Sometimes, people abuse you with just several other things. Okay. So I wanted to address that. So I wanted to address that in that it is not right. It is not right. The fact that she has postpartum, not that she has postpartum, I'm sorry, but the fact that she can endure postpartum depression or anything like that, because these are the crucial times where she just had a baby. I will agree that he was dead wrong for pretty much throwing her out at a vulnerable state in time. But he's done various other things. His behaviors prior to that has been very abusive in nature to her. They said that the mother disowned her because the baby had some black in it. But the mother said that that's not true. But it's mighty funny that the mother acknowledges the baby as not the baby, her baby, Danny Lee's baby, as the baby and not my granddaughter. I just caught that on verbiage that she used. So it kind of disconnects because most people, when they talk about their grandbaby, I know my mother, she going my grandbaby and they're 20, 22,
Right.
But I say that to say I don't condone that, and we do need to get away from toxicity. What I do know is that we don't have to be with the person that you actually had kids with. Sometimes the relationship just consists of that. Right. Sometimes it just consists of creating beautiful people, and then you move on from that and you move on and find happy. Right. So I know that is, what you do. Just because you're in a relationship, that doesn't mean that it has to last. Sometimes you go later on and you find love later on. You know what I mean? Right. But you created beautiful people and you try to be cordial and connect in various ways. So him trying to put her out with the baby, saying that she got to go. she got to leave.
Why is he saying that? Because I still haven't gotten to the bottom of anything that has gone on yet. I do know that he was on Instagram and she was behind him or something.
She said that she ordered a Plan B to his house. And you know what Plan B is?
Absolutely.
She ordered that to his house because she does not want to, he's irresponsible, and she does not want to have any more children right now. This is the stage in which she, is open to do that. And guess what? He got mad.
How old are they?
Huh?
How old are they?
Young. They're it's young. The baby.
They're young. They're young. Okay.
Yeah. So that was she said it herself. That was actually the issue. Because she ordered a Plan B.
Yeah, I agree, Wayne. Wayne says money always gets in the way.
What always gets in the way?
Money
always gets in the way. Absolutely.
I agree.
But I think at a stage that she's at right now, a lot of people addressed her saying, if somebody says, get out the house, I'm getting out the house.
Right. Because, again, I saw him. Apparently, he was on Instagram and she kept walking up behind him or something and was saying stuff or was doing stuff or something. And I didn't know what was going on. I was trying to understand. And then I kept seeing all these comments and all these celebrities commenting on her, giving her support and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, what is happening now? I was so confused with this story.
What do you think about, could you elaborate on just mental abuse and, whatever
of course.
You feel about that?
Of course. Oh, best friend. Unfortunately, a lot of time, and I'm not going to say it's only for women. Sometimes, men do go through this as well. But I will say that there are plenty of times while in relationships, we can lose sense of ourselves through treatment from another person. And mental and emotional abuse is real. And it doesn't always have to come in the form of someone degrading you verbally or someone physically putting their hands on you. It is abuse if the person that says they love you watches you deteriorate in front of their eyes and they sit and either allow you to do so or if not allowing you to do so, they are actually doing things to create an environment so that you continue to get worse.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That in itself is abuse. And I think if it was a child involved, I believe they call that neglect. And so even in relationships between two adults, there is still neglect because there is no way that your partner, married or not, should watch you being a shell of yourself or not yourself or a portion of yourself or just not your highest self, period. And they either took a vow to love you or said they wanted to be with you forever and say they love you, but are allowing you to do so. The same way that even if you had an animal, if you had a dog that you didn't bathe on a regular basis or buy treats for every now and again, and they just kind of just survived in your home, that's considered neglect and that's considered abuse. So if you remove an animal or children from the same behavior, then you got to remove yourself as an adult, male or female, for the same behavior.
I totally agree. I didn't realize, honestly, I will tell you this, I didn't realize what abuse really was, because everybody talks about the physical.
Right.
No one talks about the verbal. No one talks
wait. I'm gonna take it a step further. Even when people talk about the physical, how many times have you heard a man say, but I never hit her with a closed fist?
Yes.
Have you heard that? Have you heard that?
Yes.
It wasn't a closed fist, so it didn't count.
Yes. I've heard that.
So it didn't count. What?
I've heard that.
What?
Yeah.
Please. Anyway, go ahead, girl.
Or you take all the. I'm sorry. Are you there? Am I there, Toy?
Yeah, you're here.
You take all the keys to the car, and the person can't drive it, and they have no access to anything else.
Ooh.
And you actually do that, and that is abuse. It is.
Yes, for 100, Alex. That is abuse. Locking someone in the house is abuse. Making sure someone locks themselves in the house is abuse. Abuse comes in all forms. Again, if you have a partner or someone who has vowed to love you and they're watching you deteriorate in front of them and the rest of the world, and they don't try to do anything about it,
I agree,
or contribute to it, that is abuse. It is not just a closed fist punch. Physically, it's not just verbal abuse with someone cursing at you. There are times when people don't have to curse at you at all, and that's still abuse. Talking down to someone.
Remember, we used to say, me and you both used to say, because a lot of times people would actually get at you and be abusive towards you, and then be like, "Well, I don't do this," and it's like,
I didn't curse.
Okay, just because you dressed it up in a tuxedo and you put it differently, that does not mean that that's not abuse.
I didn't curse. This is my thing. Just because you fed me shit on a spoon doesn't mean it wasn't shit.
That part.
Okay. That is still abuse. Okay.
So
go ahead.
I think she's at a vulnerable state. I do feel like if she feels, because again, the baby told his side, she told her side, the parents and siblings and everybody told their side. And I just pray that if she is going through those things, we are a woman, we are a group where it's outstanding women who help heal.
Absolutely.
And I would just if I could talk to her, I would just tell her to snatch her power back. I would tell her to take care of that beautiful baby girl. You know what I mean? And I would tell her that sometimes we do need to be away from certain things for us to see people and who they are. You know what I mean? And I remember just having kids young and wanting it to work out and wanting to be the one,
Absolutely.
Remember, he has other, baby moms, and wanting to be the one where he stayed and he was this to mine and he was that. And, that broader picture actually doesn't allow you to focus your lens, and it doesn't allow you to see everything else.
Yeah, on it doesn't allow you to focus on you. As Wayne said in the comments, he said sometimes we are afraid to start over, so we deal with certain things out of habit. And he is 100%. He's 100% right about that. We do. Sometimes we deal out of habit.
Oh, I have got to say this, and I noticed this. I can't speak for our male counterparts. I do know of the conversations I've had with them, but I'm just speaking from a woman's perspective. A lot of times when relationships are over, we are scared to start over. I know I was scared to start over. I thought I'd never be married again. I thought that, I don't want to be hurt again. I don't feel like somebody's saying that they love me, and then they eventually 5 years later on, I learned that it wasn't love, and it wasn't what it was. So I mean, we are scared to start. Naturally, we stick with what we know because it's comfortable. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it is comfortable. Because it's something that we're just gonna live until you wake up one day and be like, "Is this all the life? Like this all we got? This can't be who God sent me."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
This got to be something.
And even all of that, and even all of that happens in stages, because there are some mornings you wake up and you think to yourself, I feel stupid. There are some mornings you wake up and you actually see the caliber of the person and character of the person that's in front of you. There are some mornings where you wake up and you feel sorry for them.
Oh my God! But that's what makes you stay. Is that not?
Yeah. You feel sorry for them.
You stay sometimes when you're like, I love this person. I will let transparent moment. You want one?
Go ahead, sis.
Being in a relationship with somebody, and I remember saying, feeling hurt, right? Feeling neglected, feeling unloved, feeling underappreciated. Let's just be real, underappreciated. But I stayed, right?
Yeah.
And I remember at one point feeling like, who would they have if I leave?
Would you hear my last?
Like, who's gonna love them like I would?
Right.
You know what I mean?
They just don't understand.
Like, wait a minute. What about me?
They don't understand.
I just listed all the things I felt: underappreciated, not loved, taken advantage of, all of those things. But my reason for staying was, who's gonna love them like I would? Who's gonna do this for them? Who's gonna do that for them? Who's gonna understand them? The next person? How about that? The next person.
Who's going to put up with the amount of abuse that they shell out to me?
Huh?
Who's going to put up with the amount of abuse that they shell out to me?
Oh my God!
Why are you so concerned about that?
So at 42 years old, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Right.
Why was I thinking that?
I don't know.
Right.
Somewhere along the line, and again, we have to have this.
I lost myself in translation. That's what that was.
That's what it says. Somewhere along the line,
I no longer cared about
you.
You know,
but that's what
myself.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Somewhere along the line, as women, we learned to sacrifice ourselves for the sake of everyone and everything else, and that we would just be okay.
Right.
No matter what is given, no matter what it looks like, no matter what is going on, we will just be okay. And that's not always the truth, and that's not always the case.
I'm just glad, Chanel, I'm not in that space anymore. And I'm telling you, I swear to you, when I think about, I always mention this, but some more. One of these, she's very funny.
Yeah.
She's very funny, but one of her, comedians to me are geniuses because they make you laugh, but they also
make you think,
allow you to go to another place. They're very smart in that they put some real moments in their comedy.
Absolutely.
And one of the real
all
moments
of them are real moments.
Said, right. And one of the real moments that she said, 30, you're a little confused at what 25, you're a little confused at what you are. You really don't know who you are. You don't know what you really want.
Right.
And then there's 30, right? And 30 is like you start learning what you like and what you dislike and everything like that. She said, but it's something about 40. And I'll never forget when I heard this, I think I was about 38, 39 when I heard her say this, right? And I remember just going through my timeline. I hadn't reached 40 yet, but I remember going through my timeline being like, yeah, what's funny is very unsure at 30. I remember what I was at 30. I was still tolerating some things that I shouldn't. And then I turned 35 and things got real. But it was something. I said something.
Something.
It was something.
It
was something about 40. And I remember the year. Come on, you turned it with me. I remember the year. I remember I took it. I remember I celebrated all them days, remember?
Yeah.
And I remember me not tolerating stuff.
Yeah.
If somebody says something crazy to me, if somebody rubbed me the wrong way, I realized at that moment that I don't gotta be everywhere.
Yeah.
That that I'm dealing with me and the way I feel about myself matters. Yeah. If I cannot make it to an event, guess what? I'm not overextending myself anymore.
Right.
I'm not being in a relationship that's one-sided.
Yeah.
I need the love that I give. I need it reciprocated. I demand that. How about that?
Okay.
I demand that. I demand that if I give, that you need to give me the same. I'm not saying you got to match me toe to toe because everybody loves differently, but I need to feel love. And I just remember 40 changing for me. So here we are at 42. I'm excited to see what 50 will bring. But I'm just saying that I knew that 40 was the cutoff for me. 40 was like, yeah, I don't need all these people in my life. I'm good.
But I think taking it back to the baby and Danny Lee situation, one of the reasons why I asked how old they were is because she is so young. A lot of times, unfortunately, these relationships are our world. And I'll go a step further. You know, a lot of times for us as women, period, no matter what age we are, these relationships are our world. And like you just said a minute ago, we cannot see beyond them. We can't see past them, and we definitely can't see ourselves, you know, and we endure
that part. That's the stay right there.
Yeah.
So not seeing ourselves.
Yeah, we don't.
That part.
We don't. And sometimes it takes a while after the relationship is over for us to be able to even recognize who we were even at that time period, you know. A lot of times, like there's always lessons that you're learning when a relationship is over, if you are the type of person who is always in learning, you know what I mean, because everybody don't get everything, you know what I mean, but if you are always trying to learn from your mistakes, and if you are always trying to learn from the things you've been through, sometimes things hit you a while later. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's times I'm sitting there typing at work at 42, and I think about something I dealt with at 24, think about something I dealt with at 34, and be like, wow. And I'll get a new perspective on it randomly. You talking about almost 20 years later, or almost 10 years or so later, and you start thinking to yourself, wow, I dealt with that, or wow, they said that, or I could have said, or I didn't realize that I was this at that time, and I didn't realize, you know, girl, bye. Transparent moment. Literally, just this, girl, I gotta laugh at myself. Literally, just this week, I started thinking about certain things that I put up with in former relationships.
Yes.
And I was like, what were you doing?
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got to forgive yourself, because, you know, you can't stay in that. But you have to get to a point where you say to yourself, girl, do you recognize how fly you are? Why on earth this person didn't even measure up to you then or now?
Wow.
Why on earth?
They still ain't measuring up.
Why on earth did you deal with that? Right, Wayne. Wayne was saying in the comments, learning your worth. Like, why on earth? Like, and you have to laugh to yourself. And like I said, you definitely have to forgive yourself. But there were some things I was thinking about just this week alone where I was just like, girl, bye. You know, it's crazy how people from your past could not even get the time of day now, you know, and I want to say
that shouldn't have got it even then.
That shouldn't have got it then. And I want to say to, you know, I mean, hell, women our age group, but definitely, you know, to our younger sisters out there that think they have so much in these abusive relationships that they're in. Honey, all you got to do is keep living.
That's it.
All you got to do is keep living.
That's it.
Because the tides, they do turn. I don't care what the situation looks like. I don't care who they are. I don't care what it looks like they got going on. Trust and believe that the tides do turn. And eventually, once you recognize your self-worth, and a lot of times people say that as a demeaning thing too, and I don't like that.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? A lot of times people say, girl, I mean, recognize your worth. That, you know, but in a real sense of, please recognize how fly you are. Recognize how you think, how you comprehend, how you maneuver, how you do things, and recognize that you are one of a kind. Recognize that you may not look like what you've been through, or recognize that you're not who you could be, or just recognize how valuable you are. And that's definitely something that I would want to say, not only to all of us as men and women who have been in those situations, but, you know, especially to these young girls, because I do see a lot of younger girls on social media trying to console her and support her and send her words of encouragement.
Absolutely.
And, you know, if I can say anything if I could say anything to her, it would be, honey, keep living. Keep living.
That's it.
Just keep living. Keep
That's
living.
it. I think
things are going to
we need
change.
to
It'll
be
turn
open
around.
to, you know, I like the fact that we're like that as friends, but we are also like that in the show, and that transparency is important because it does allow someone else to see the situation that they're in, to relate, to understand, and to also give an out or just advice to somebody that actually has gone through the same thing.
Right.
I say that to say that it is imperative that we are transparent, because that's what, you know, I learned later on, even with my daughter, is hiding stories from people does not allow people to see things or grow. Right. There's a lot of things that I sheltered her from that I say to this day, like, dang, I should have told her this, because why? She's going to grow up to be a woman one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she may just very well go through the same thing.
Yeah.
And she has a point of reference.
Right. Having no perspective, having a no perspective whatsoever on something is not in a good place to be. Because you know what happens to us? We isolate ourselves because we don't think anyone else is going through what we're going through. And then we try to deal with things on our own, and that doesn't work out. And it's like I say all the time, and I got this from Creflo Dollar, when he says, you have already thought every thought that you're going to think in your head. And if you could have figured it out, you would have figured it out before. You know, God, the creator, whatever it is that people believe in, allows you to have relationships with other people so that you can then see what it is that you have going on through people. Hopefully you're surrounding yourself with people that genuinely care about you and are trying to pour into you. But if so, and they're having a very real conversation with you, then it's something that is necessary. You know what I mean? So, but trying to figure out things on your own 9 times out of 10 is not going to work.
Absolutely.
It's not going to work.
That's why you always need someone to talk to, vent to. So we, on this show, we believe in counseling.
Absolutely.
We believe in sister girls, people that actually allow you to vent and get to the next level. And for them to pour into you. It's one thing for you to continue to pour out into other people, but it's one thing for the people to pour back into you. And I know a lot of times I've been spent in a lot of areas with people, and I haven't been able to get the same, the pouring into, and like, you want to seek that out. You really want to, I'm here. You really want to be able to vent and tell your feelings about stuff, but you also want solid, great advice to what I call real talk, no chaser type of talk. That is what allows you to grow. Is that not? That is what allows you to see yourself for who you are. Yeah. That is what allows you to take, whatever steps it is to be the better version of you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never want friendships that just tell you what you want to hear. You want friendships that challenge you and push you to the next level. You don't want somebody saying, yeah, you're right. I don't want a yes friend. I never did. I never will. I really want a friend that'll make me mad, that'll have me go somewhere in the shower and think about what they said. You know what I'm saying? Because at the moment I'm being defensive. But it sinks in when I'm alone. And then I have to come back and say, thank you, girl. I want those. I've always allowed and wanted those type of friendships because that's the friend I've been to people. Yes, there's timing, there's place and everything for everything. But I just want that. I want somebody to take me to the next level and grow. Don't cut your sister girls off. That's all I'm going to say. Don't cut them off because they're destined. They're assigned to you. Right? So they're assigned to you, and they are. I mean, they're assigned to you. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. And I pray again for her to just, have an outlet. for her not to continue the toxicity. What we don't realize is that when you continue being in a relationship where somebody is toxic, you have children.
Yes.
And the children eventually are able to see that. And then you wonder why they do the things that they do, because that's all they saw.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to be with parents that fight all the time. I'd rather them be apart than for, somebody to have to witness fighting and doing all this other stuff. You'd rather them be in a healthy environment. You know what I mean?
Because that kind of abuse and that kind of toxic behavior gets passed down between generations. A lot of people, don't recognize what the crux of generational curses are. It is feelings and emotions that are passed down between generations on how learned behaviors on how we deal with certain things. And we don't realize, ironically, I mentioned Auntie, Iyanla Vanzant, because, shameless plug. I had a Zoom meeting with her last Thursday. And again, I will show everyone the videos this week on the station network. But, she was also saying generational curses sometimes take 14 to 17 generations to squash out certain behaviors. And it's and she was going all into the scientific fact that we have mitochondrial DNA from our grandparents that is still physically within our system. And so we pick up on so much that even our grandparents dealt with, and then that's why it takes so many generations to stomp something out. But what we fail to realize is that when we recognize that there is a problem, making a conscious effort to be different, making a conscious effort to handle things different, making a conscious effort to treat other people differently is our responsibility. It becomes our responsibility. You can't come from a generation of petty people and then say you don't like it, but then turn around and end up being petty. What do you think your children are going to do? Absolutely. You can't come from a family of abusive people and then say you don't like it, but then have abusive tendencies. And then what do you think your children are going to do? They're going to be exactly the same way. So, it's a lot. It's a lot. Change behavior is definitely important.
I agree.
I
totally agree. And let's start connecting with people that makes us a better version of ourselves.
Yep.
Let's start connecting with people that is aligned to and in the business of allowing us to grow and helping us grow. Let's connect with those people.
Right.
That's how I feel. I don't. We have our own stories, of course. But when I watch a young girl, as we have time and time again, lose herself, and she will look back. I'm telling you, she will look back at 5 years, 10 years. She will watch her daughter grow and realize that I do not want my daughter going through the same exact thing. And I've always been transparent enough with my daughter. As the years have gone by, I learned that being transparent is what helps and heals. And what I will say is that me opening up and just telling her, just a lot of the things that I've gone through. Of course, I'm not done because, I give her enough in order for her to understand right now. I don't want to put burdens on her, but I do want her to be aware as she goes through the stage of life. When I look back, I'm always like, God, she'll be 20. She'll be 20.
Yeah. Another reason why transparency is key, not to cut you off. Another reason why transparency is key is because unfortunately, as human beings, especially in the African American community, we pick up on the do as I say, not as I do philosophy, right? And we've talked about this on the show before. So when you decide to fold your sheet in threes, you don't even know why you fold your sheet in threes. You've been folding your sheet in threes because your grandmother or your mother or your father or your grandfather folded your sheet in threes. And so you just picked up that that's just how it should be done. But this is when it becomes a problem. When you get into a relationship and someone else folds their sheet in fours, and now y'all are physically in arguments because you think it should be 3s. They think it should be 4s. No one is letting up, and you don't even know why you feel like it should be that way. And of course, I'm using the sheet analogy as something light.
Just with anything, though.
But it could be with anything. How you handle anger, how you handle emotion, how you handle hard times, how you handle happy times. You don't realize a lot of times you manage things in a certain way because that is what you were taught. And maybe if your mother or father or grandparent said, I fold the sheet in 3s because at this particular time I did not have a closet, so I had to put my sheets in bins and I had to make sure everything fit, so that's why I did it. So see, transparency will let you know why people did things the way they did. So if you pick up on those behaviors and you start doing them too, you have now learned why they did it. But maybe that doesn't work for you now. Maybe that doesn't work in your life now. Maybe it worked and you had to do it then with that family member, but maybe it doesn't feed you in your life now. Maybe it's not productive in your life now, so there's no need to do it. But that is why transparency, especially with children, that is why transparency is important. They need to know why you do things the way you do them, so that they don't pick up on habits and fight for them with somebody else, and it's not even something that they have to do.
Right.
You know, they may not have to do that. That's why that's another reason why transparency is important when it comes to dealing with children, you know?
Absolutely.
So I don't know, but definitely transparency in all relationships, and you know, the most important relationship to be transparent with is yourself, because you have to be very, very real about why you are feeling a certain way, and you honestly need to be very real about that feeling before expressing it to others. You know what I mean? I feel this way because blah 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 blah. So before you go and accuse someone else or something, or put someone else through something, or you know, before you go and do that, you have to very much deal with your own real feelings.
Absolutely.
You know, especially in a relationship, because a lot of times we put unnecessary burdens on our partners. So, you know, all of that I feel like is important. And like I said, if I could speak to this young lady, there would be a lot that I would say.
That part, I wish her well. And I just, you know, mental health is real when it comes to just having a baby as well. And I think that I am very cautious of that part. I think that we need to all be well aware of the vulnerability and the sensitivity of her right now. You know, and they were saying, you know, a lot of, you know, the parent was saying, you know, her mother was saying, I just want her out of there. And honestly, she was still there.
Yeah. She left though recently, right?
Recently. She just recently, but she was still there even after he had told her to get out, you know.
Let me ask you a question, because you mentioned vulnerability, which, you know, I am all for, especially, you know, in relationships, families, and, you know, everything else. I am all for being vulnerable enough to be transparent and open, and, you know, figuring out emotions and situations and all of that. What are your thoughts on vulnerability, like how their relationship has now been publicized and all the dirt they're in all over social media? What are your thoughts on that?
Good question. It's very hard to, I think when you're on display, social media, it's very hard to come back from a lot of things. But I will say that you can. There are certain people that have been publicly humiliated, and have in private rectified some things. Take Cardi B for instance. Let's just be real. Just one of them.
Yeah.
Cardi B has publicly put her relationship on display, but she has literally told, when I look at Summer Walker's album, she has a space on there where she tell her, girl, get your money. Don't worry about what these people say. If you choose to be with your man, then it is what it is. So I don't know. I think you can come back from it. Should you have to? Absolutely not. Because a lot of things should remain private. Come on.
Yeah.
A lot of things should remain private, but does it? Absolutely not.
Right.
What
about those who voluntarily put
oh God, you know how I feel about that. Like voluntarily, like put their business out there.
Just voluntarily put, breakups and breakdowns and all of that on social media.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I really don't agree with that. Like, I
think you open yourself up sometimes, because I can't sit here and say that I haven't done it, but I will say that you once maybe, but I will say you open yourself up to the court of opinion. And that's definitely that's a court you're going to be in regardless, but you definitely don't want to voluntarily put yourself there. I like to say, and I going in depth about your business and different things that have gone on publicly. I mean, if that's what you mean to do, and you just welcome all comments, questions, concerns, whatever, that's one thing. But a lot of times when people are going through, eventually they just want solitude and solace, and they want to figure things out. But because you have now put everything out there, a lot of times you can't get that back.
Absolutely.
You can't get that back. So I have
be careful of that. That's my warning. Be careful of that, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to fix what you put in public in private.
Right.
You don't want to do that. So I would suggest that you actually leave yourself, once you run to social media, you open up a lot of doors.
Like I said,
let me tell you something. What's funny is that it's just like going to your family. Once you go to your family with whatever, like they're unforgiving.
Most of the time.
So
the thing about it is that the hope is that you have friends and family members that you can discuss things with, because as we said, we know that there are things that you have to discuss with other people because you can't figure things out all on your own. But a lot of things are not conversations for everybody.
Absolutely.
It's not a lot of times the things that we go through in life are not everybody's business. Everybody should not know you're going through, how you feel, what happened. That's not a conversation for everybody. You got a handful of people, literally a handful of people that you trust with your business, like we said earlier, that genuinely love you, that can genuinely give you advice, or genuinely care enough about the situation to say something positive about it, or pour something into you so that you can do something about it. You know what I mean?
But also just be cautious of the fact that there are some family members that genuinely care about you, but they cannot get over certain things as well. Let's just be real. If you are telling me that this guy did XYZ, I'm not going to be as forgiving.
Right.
All the time. You also need to be understanding of that. And I'm not saying hide whatever. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying hide whatever. But all I'm saying is there is a point where there are some people that do not do well with, like, no, this dude is treating you wrong. I don't like the way he treats you. And they just can't come back from it.
Yeah.
Even though you still decide to remain with the person. Yeah. Now, I thank God I don't have that issue. I see both sides for what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know love is love. I do know that. I'm very aware of that. But I'm also, of course, do I love my friends and family? Of course. Will I always be there for them? Of course. Will I be there for them if they decide to go back to somebody? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I will.
Absolutely.
Because when they get tired is when they get tired. It has nothing to do with me, long as they are not. Now what I can't get over is because what I can't get over is putting your hands on. And my thing is, you put your hands on, you know, and then that's gonna cause me to put my hands on. You know what I'm saying? So we all ain't gonna get over. You know, right. We all gonna be sitting.
Now we done created a whole situation.
All of us mad. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, absolutely. That's all I'm saying. And I think we do need to be more cautious about the things that we put on Facebook and Instagram and
all of social media,
TikTok.
Yeah, all social media. All right, listen, we only got 2 minutes left to the show. So
yes, ma'am.
As you know, as I said, if we could speak to this young lady personally, you know, my advice to her would, like I said earlier in the show, keep living, young lady.
That's it.
Keep living. Things always turn around, and you will be fine as long as you keep living, being productive, and taking care of yourself. No matter if you are a mother, a wife, a daughter, a sister, a friend, or anything, you will be okay. So that is my advice for the evening. In the meantime,
I cannot agree more.
Okay. Right. Well, listen, you it's good to have you back in the virtual studio on Tuesday. We have to do this again.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We have to do this again. You know, wait a minute. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So again, that is our show for tonight, and we love you guys for watching, and we love you guys for listening, and hopefully God willing we will be here same time, same place next week. Different topic, hopefully one that helps us all to continue to heal,
absolutely, as
we should be. In the meantime, we are in a countdown until some big things that are going on hopefully soon. And hopefully, you know, as the new year approaches, new things will be too. So,
yeah.
In the meantime, Queen B, I'm gonna be talking to you.
Of course.
All right. Here. And we love you guys, and we will see you all soon.
Thank you for listening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.